It's inconceivable. As a prosecutor, it's inconceivable somebody could come and say, stop this prosecution, or ignore this prosecution, or stop this investigation. If somebody really meant that, I'd tell them they face the possibility of being charged with obstruction of justice.
The country is being tested in unprecedented ways. I say to all of my colleagues in the Senate, history is watching.
And we're still watching. Let's continue our conversation talking about all this drama with the Trump White House and James Comey and Michael Flynn and the Russians. First of all, let's go to former Georgia State Representative LaDon Jones. LaDon, we haven't even gotten to the 6-month point yet. I mean, literally, it feels like this man has been there for 3 years.
You know what it actually feels like? So today, coincidentally in history, May 17th is when the Senate started the impeachment hearings for Nixon. And if you look at the declarations of impeachment, Trump has done every single one of them. It's almost like he's following it like a reality show script. Lie to the public, get people to lie about facts in the case, obstruct justice by telling someone not to look into an investigation. He is following, all we're waiting for is the $1 million payoff for the burglary, and we have impeachment coming right down the pike.
Chris Metzler, the issue that we have here is that for Congress, when it comes to impeachment, they don't have a legal standard. They have actually a congressional standard. Now, granted, Republicans control the House, they control the Senate, but I don't know if the Republicans can take another hit, because it's been hit after hit. And again, if his approval numbers are dragging down their numbers, we have 2 special elections coming up, one in Montana, one in Georgia. According to conservative Eric Erickson, the national GOP did some polling over the weekend. Those seats are shifting to the Democratic side. The GOP is looking at some serious problems.
Yeah, and you know, let's be clear. When we talk about impeachment, impeachment is first and foremost a political issue. It is not really a legal issue. So the articles of impeachment are drawn up, obviously, in the House because it's 2 parts, impeachment and then removal. Removal would come from the Senate should there be impeachment. Now, from a political standpoint, I think you have several GOP folks who are making political calculations, and they will have to make those political calculations accordingly. And that's where we are. We find ourselves in the middle of a political firestorm, and that's why you have so many people who are on the Republican side who are saying, yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do or where I'm going to end up, because it's critical for us to get our agenda passed. That's where we are.
Monica, you have, of course, a Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger, who is now calling for an independent investigation. Again, when you see Republican after Republican, day after day, realizing that there are problems here with credibility, then you got a problem if you're Donald Trump.
You have a problem if you're Donald Trump, but the problem is that Donald Trump is somewhere apparently in his own paranoid delusion state right now, and I don't think he knows how much of a problem he has. And I believe that that is a better approach for Republicans at this point. It would have to be truly high crime, not misdemeanor, in order for them to be able to feel good about going forward with impeachment and think that they're going to hold on to any of their offices. But again, the Constitution provides another vehicle in the 25th Amendment, Article 4, Clause 4 of the 25th Amendment. This president is inept. This president seems unable to execute his duties. This president is anti-reading. He will not submit to briefing, asks for 1 page of bullet points, and then won't read those. They're in there trying to spoon feed him as much information as he could stand, and it's putting America and the world at risk. So I think maybe a kinder, gentler, more Reagan-esque approach to deal with this would be, let's figure out if this president actually has capacity to do his job. And I understand that there are many on the Republican side who are trying to figure that out right now.
So there's a double standard, Roland, in terms of this administration. On one hand, we've got an attorney general who's talking about, hey, we've got to charge people to the maximum. Let's not be smart on crime. Let's lock them up. And then we've got Trump talking about let Flynn go, right? We've got a scenario where we've got an AG who's saying, hey, we don't need police reform. Police need the freedom to basically, go against citizens here. And then you've got the president who says, let's fire the FBI director. So we've got politicization. We're politicizing law enforcement, and we've got a lack of impartial justice. So there's the impeachment issue, but then there's also this double standard that's really kind of unique with regard to our community.
Well, Spencer, I would say that this is also a timing issue. You got to watch Smiling Mike Pence. The Republicans lose nothing if Trump goes. I mean, to paraphrase Stevie Wonder from Do I Do, Trump playing by himself, man. So in other words, Pence and that crew, they can push that entire agenda. The question is timing. To what Monique says is true. 25th Amendment requires the Vice President and the Cabinet. If Pence and that crew decide it's time, then they can make a move. Yeah. But that Cabinet, those appointees, the agenda rolls on without Trump.
Well, I think the point here is that Trump doesn't understand the format of government. He thinks that he is the boss. he thinks that he is the boss, the CEO of Congress, that these people report to him. And I think, and he's not going to be re-educated at this point on the structure of this. This is his mindset because he believes that's how it should work, right? So from a communications point of view, I mean, the Republicans have to decide how long are they going to play along with that and pretend that he is the boss.
In 1988, Max Robinson, speaking at Howard University, of course, Max Robinson, the first African-American to be a main anchor for the evening news, said, never ever lose your integrity or your credibility, because in the end, that's all you've got. You look at the people around Trump. If you're Sean Spicer, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, if you're McMaster, you can go down the line. This man does not care about the integrity or the credibility of anybody else. He will burn anybody. I would not be surprised if you begin, if one, you hear of this wholesale changes he might make. You got some people who are probably saying, my God, please, get rid of me. Please relieve me of this madness.
It depends on where they are, though, because we already see that 93% of Trump supporters are still hard, fast Trump supporters, right? So who is Sarah Huckabee trying to talk to? Who is Sean Spicer? Who is his audience? If his audience is the Trump supporter, they're still hanging in there, and they're very happy what's going on. I want to know, what are the Democrats doing to take advantage of this time? Let's not just battle against Trump. What is it that's going to make him, that we can get through, that's a part of our policy to change while all this other stuff is going on?
Actually, Democrats can't do anything, Spencer, politically, because, again, they don't control the levers of power. But this is what I said on ABC this week. I remember when Matthew Dial was saying that the Democrats need somebody to stand up, rally the base. I said, no, you don't. I said, all you got to do is be patient. Right. I said, just be patient. I said, trust me, it will come. If you're the Democrats, you don't need to do this huge deal. If somebody over there is burning, you don't go get a fire extinguisher. Right.
Well, the question is Mike Pence a stronger candidate in 2020 than Donald Trump?
Well, in 2018, brother.
right. And that's where we are. Final comment, Chris Metzler.
That's right.
Well, from my standpoint, we have to look at this from the political standpoint, from the legal standpoint, et cetera. I think it's very, very important for us, though, not to rush to these conclusions that there is obstruction of justice at this point in time. I hear all the commentary. I understand all of that. But at this point, the evidence simply is not there. And I think it's important for us to look at it from that perspective.
Monique, final comment.
We have no idea what the evidence is. We only know as much as the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal can get from the leakers. I think that what we don't know about what this president has already done can fill up every single article of impeachment. But he is also dangerous. So to me, it's not a question of whether Pence is a better president. It is the fact that as far as we know, Pence is a sane vice president, and this country needs some stability no matter what.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. Your hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh, my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.